Hey, yeah, they had me there for a second. They had me. They really did have me. I ain't gonna lie. They had me. They had me. When the Mavericks went up 30-11, I seriously thought the game was over. I'm not even lying. I know it was the first quarter and anything could freaking happen. But legitimately, I literally thought the first quarter, I literally thought when the Mavericks were up 30-11 and they were hitting the same exact shots they were hitting, in the first two games, the Clippers were playing the same lackadaisical way they were playing in games 1 and 2. All this crap. And it's 30-11. And I just make a tweet saying, this game's over. We're going to get effing swept. We're going to get swept. And I'm going to be over here talking on my damn video, talking about how we potentially got blew out tonight and how now because of we got blown out, we're going to get swept. And guess what? The Clippers, from that moment on, went on a humongous run and damn near outscored the damn Dallas Mavericks, fought in this game every tooth and nail. And finally, in the fourth quarter, they finally took a commanding lead and ran with it and essentially shut the door on the Dallas Mavericks. That's what I wanted to see. That's what I wanted to see in games 1 and 2. Defensive intensity, urgency to win, great offensive play. Guys finally hitting shots when I need them to hit shots. Thank you, Marcus Morris. I'm still not cool with Marcus Morris, but okay, fine. He hit his shots tonight, and he had some very clutch, very timely made three-point corner shots. And now the Clippers, even though they're still down in this series, the Clippers have stole a game on Dallas's home court in hostile territory, and now got the series to a 2-1 deficit. Obviously, the Clippers are going to have to go into Dallas on Sunday and tie the series up going back to Los Angeles. But I'll tell you one thing. There is one thing that we can guarantee. There is going to be one more game in Los Angeles. Now, again, I'm going to go into my whole – now, first things first, before I talk about the game, I'm going to go into my whole psychological discussion of this game. Must-win game. We needed to freaking win this game. And before the game, Ty Lue didn't release the lineup, the starting lineup. And I'm like, okay, that means he's got some tricks up his sleeves. He really adjusted. 2, Ibaka was out. We found out that Ibaka wasn't going to play. So I was like, great. That might be a reason why we lose because I wanted Ibaka to get more minutes. But Ty Lue, he comes on and he says, well, I'm not going to give the lineup now. And then only a few minutes before tip-off, we get the lineup of Reggie, Paul George, Kawhi, Morris, and Zoo. And if you got my reaction to that lineup, I was not a happy camper. I didn't like the fact Zoo was in the starting lineup. I did not like the fact that Reggie was in the starting lineup. Personally, I was also not happy that I didn't like Morris in the starting lineup. Now, obviously, the question is, it can end up proving you wrong. And outside of 2 of the 3 guys, they proved me wrong. Reggie Jackson, I would say to start the game, he was pretty bad. He was awful. And I can't believe I'm saying this, but later on in the game, he actually played a pretty decent game from that point on. He was pretty locked in. He was locked in defensively, even though he had a few defensive lapses after the run. But he hit shots. He had a big, shot for 3 after coming in after Marcus Morris fouled out. So, which essentially you could say somewhat sealed the deal for the Dallas Mavericks. Going on to Marcus Morris. Marcus Morris, he didn't look too well. It was getting to the point where I'm like, okay, Marcus Morris got to be taken out. And then Marcus Morris, even though his defense wasn't the best, he hit some pretty clutch 3-point shots and stuff like that. Now, personally, Morris, look, I love your energy. I know he's a talker. But next time, can you not get a technical chirping at the Dallas bench? I understand. The Dallas Mavericks were doing it the same way to you. And it's rightfully in their honest way to do it. You can do back to them. But please be smart. So if you hit a big three, just take your little three, run back, go play defense. Zoo, the only stretch I saw him do really well was that little stretch in the third quarter where he was getting offensive rebounds. Everything else, he was getting cooked, just like I predicted. And to start off the game, they did that stupid BS switching strategy where guess what? They switched Kawhi until they switched from Kawhi, Paul George, another defender like a Batum, and switched him onto Zubac. And obviously we know that when Luka was on Zubac, it's just barbecue chicken. I hope going forward for the rest of the series, that does not tend to happen because I'm going to tell you one thing. We got some wishes in this game that goes to show that Ty Lue somewhat adjusted. One, he started playing the moment. Hold on. The moment, as I charge my laptop, the moment Zoo was getting cooked, the first thing is Ty Lue in the second time, after the second timeout, he took Zoo immediately out and put in Batum. And guess what? That's kind of started a little bit of the run, too. And then, two, he also inserted man, which really got the run started. So that's good to know that Ty Lue's now looking to have a short leash lane. If Zoo's getting cooked, he's getting cooked. So if you start with Zoo in game 4 and the same thing's happening again, call a timeout and take Zoo automatically out and put in Batum. The same thing goes for Patrick Beverley. Beverley didn't play much of the game. He didn't play much. He didn't even see a lick at all in the second half. At all. Which, that's adjustments being made. Now, if we can stop Reggie Jackson from playing and have more minutes allocated to Rondo and Terrence Mann, there we got a perfect game plan there. And I'm a very happy Clipper fan. Anyways. Ty Lue made necessary adjustments. I thought the defensive game plan was much better. The defensive game plan when the Mavericks went on the 30-11 run looked like the defensive game plan from the first two games. And it made it look to where, oh, great, I'm seeing scared-ass Clippers again. But after that 3-11 run, when the Clippers went on their run, they played tough-nosed defense. And what did I say? Just guard Luka one-on-one and stay home. Now, the Dallas Mavericks, if I go check the box score, they still hit 20 out of their 39 threes, which is still a 51.3 percentage from three. And the Clippers still ended up winning. Maybe you should just stay home. So going forward, and what I like late in the game is how when Rondo was guarding him, they just let Rondo go up against Luka by himself, and they just stayed home. Now, the only other thing I need for the Clippers to clean up is their damn rebounding issue. They're lucky the Dallas Mavericks didn't get back in the game when it came to the offensive rebound, and they were collecting. My God. Dallas had 13 offensive rebounds. Some of those offensive rebounds were just awful. There were times where we could have easily got the rebound. We're just too lazy. Clippers need to clean that stuff up. But what did I say for defensive game plan? Just play Luka up one-on-one. Whoever's guarding him, just live with what Luka does. And what do we know what Luka does in his games? First, second quarters, he'll cook you. Third quarter, okay, starting off, he'll start to cook you a bit. But then that's when he starts to become irrelevant. That's when he starts to diminish. And that's when he starts to get exhausted. And that's when he starts not to hit as many shots. Now, he hit shots late in the game to try to keep the Dallas Mavericks alive. But altogether, it didn't prove nothing, right? The clown barely had any points going into the fourth quarter. Play him one-on-one and let him burn himself out, wasting and expending all his damn energy into the first and second quarters. And guess what? When he's not scoring like he did the last 3 games now, when it goes into the fourth quarter, he becomes irrelevant. And it becomes a much easier Dallas team to score against. Two, he's also missing free throw shots. So that also helped. I'm sorry, if I'm a Dallas Mavericks fan, the one thing I got to say that I'm pissed about Luka is the fact that he's missing some simple free throw shots. Those free throw shots that go in Luka misses, we might be talking about a different game potentially. Another game changer that if I was a Dallas Mavericks fan, I would be pissed off is, good God. You know, when Dallas traded for Porzingis, they made it seem like this man is going to be legit. I'm just going to get something straight. Kristaps Porzingis sucks. I'm not even saying this as a Clippers fan. I'm just saying this as an NBA fan altogether. He sucks. Let me read this dude's stat line, because I swear this guy was terrible. He had a -9, but he was 3 of 10 from the field, only hit one of his 3-point shots, had 9 points, 4 assists and 3 rebounds. He sucks, man. This is the outlier for the freaking Dallas Mavericks. And Porzingis was playing very efficient. Dallas might have won this game tonight. But in all the 3 games, let's be honest, Porzingis hasn't done a damn thing. He's been garbage. If I'm a Dallas Mavericks fan, the one player I would say that deserves an automatic benching if he's not going to show up and play is Porzingis, which again leads me to believe that Luka is a one-man team. I don't fear Kristaps Porzingis. Look at what he's done the last 3 games. He's barely done nothing. Most of his points where he gets into like 15 or 20 points is him getting these freaking garbage time baskets, man, when the game's already done. So, yeah. Now look what the Clippers damn near did. Even though Maxi Kleber had 14 points. Dorian Finney-Smith, 6 points. Oh, Dorian Finney-Smith, don't think I didn't see you trying to chirp at the Clippers bench at the end of the game. That goes to show you're scared. This man since game 1 hasn't done a damn thing, like I predicted. Dorian Finney-Smith sucks. Just like Maxi Kleber, just like Tim Hardaway Jr., just like the rest of this Dallas Mavericks team. I don't care if there's Dallas Maverick fans saying, we don't suck. We're taking 2 games from you on your own coach. What the hell are you talking about? Nah, please. Your old players suck. They're having abnormal shooting highs out of the I don't know what, because the Clippers are giving them too much space on defense. Please, Tim Hardaway Jr. would not be averaging 20 points per game in a playoff series in his career before this. And all of a sudden, he plays the Clippers, he's doing that. This guy's at least a 10-point per game / 15-point per game scorer. This guy ain't no 20-point per game scorer, so that means, in other words, he's average. Maxi Kleber, bum. Yeah, you clearly saw him getting guarded by Kawhi. He clearly can't guard him. He sucks. Dorian Finney-Smith, suck. Porzingis, suck. I know I'm running down the entire roster, but this is how I'm going to show you how inferior the Dallas Mavericks are to the Clippers. Dallas has nice players, so I'm going to give them credit. They got some nice players. But are they better than the Clippers? Hell no. And anybody that says that is wrong. Or if anybody that says the Dallas Mavericks are better than Clippers is wrong. All right, pal, nothing. Willie Collins Stein. Thanks for elbowing my boy Terrence Mann. Gave you nothing, although he gave them some decent rim protection. Brunson had 14 points, so again, it was the side trio of Kleber, Hardaway Jr., who had, oh, look at this! Tim Hardaway Jr., 14 points! No, not 14 points, 12 points. What did I say? Tim Hardaway Jr., 4 of 14 from the field. What did I say? When Tim Hardaway Jr. is not scoring abnormally high points, 20-plus points, guess what? Oh, look how different the game plan is for Dallas when they're not getting effective scoring. I don't know why he got 4-14. Because the Clippers actually stayed home and stayed on their man and guarded him effectively. And look at that. Maxi Kleber had another abnormal shooting performance. Whatever. That ain't going to stay long. He's just a bum, too. Jalen Brunson. So the trio of Brunson, Hardaway, and Kleber, guess what? They gave the Dallas Mavericks some points, but literally nothing. Richardson, I thought I'd be more scared of Richardson, but that guy's giving them nothing at all. He's got 4 points. Goes to show you. And what did I say? Luka only had 44 points tonight. One-man show. Read down the rest of the stats. These guys are nothing. One-man show. Luka does all the damage. Trust me. He does all the work. This team isn't good. They're not good to compete against some of these top teams. They ain't good to beat the Suns when fully healthy. They ain't good to beat the Utah Jazz, in my opinion. The bottom teams, yes, they can beat those guys, but they're not that good. They're an average basketball team. I'll give Dallas this. They're an average basketball team with a really great generational talent and a player of Luka Doncic. But if his role players ain't helping him, Dallas isn't good. And that's what I'd like to see from the defense. Defense, they just stayed home on their guys. And guess what? They defended Luka the best they could. Let Luka have whatever he wanted. He had 44 tonight. Now, guess what? What the media likes to overblow stuff saying, oh, Luka Doncic is cooking the Clippers. No, it wasn't Luka Doncic cooking the Clippers, although he was doing that. It was Tim Hardaway Jr. and other role players stepping up cooking the Clippers. See, the media tries to go into this whole superstar BS and start looking at the facts. That's why these media people don't know what the hell they're talking about sometimes. Anyways, the Clippers get the win tonight. Let's go to the stats. Kawhi Leonard, what can I say? 36 points. He's 3 for 3. That man's bringing it on the defensive side of the ball and the offensive side of the ball. What can I ask for? Marcus Morris Sr. Oh, it's nice to see you join the party. About time. 15 points. There's a point in the game, he looked atrocious. And I'm like, dude, just take this clown out. He's not doing anything. But guess what? Maybe sometimes keeping you in the game actually works out for the better for you. And guess what? He got 15 points, hit some very clutch threes at the end of the game, even though he fouled out and got attacked and stuff like that. He still had some pretty clutch threes. So that's good. I'll take it. Zubac out of all the starters, arguably, if you ask me, Zubac was probably the worst player on the team tonight. He was probably the worst player on the team. He only had 11 minutes, which, good. Cut his minutes. Don't need to play. This team can run small ball, and look how small ball affects the Dallas Mavericks. There you go. He only had 2 points and went 1 of 3 and then got cooked by Luka again. Reggie Jackson, although I didn't want him in the game, I thought he was going to have 40 points tonight. He only had 34 points, so he got more minutes than I thought he would. I think that's more minutes than last game. Last game he had 31, so he had only 3 more minutes. Huh. Please, just stop with the Reggie Jackson minutes. He was 6 of 12 from the field, 4 of 10 from 3, had 16 points tonight. I'll take it. It's a contribution to me. Reggie Jackson, I don't want to even see on the court. That's how much I feel about Reggie Jackson. Just have him off the court. He's just productive. He just gave me some points. That's all I feel. Paul George. Can I just say this? Where are the pandemic P haters? Where are the playoff P haters now? Where are the ridiculing? You can't ridicule Paul George. In every game he's had this series, he scored at least 20 points or more. Where are y'all at? That's what I thought. Crickets. So I don't want to hear none of this pandemic P right now. He's actually playing really good basketball. He's scoring the ball. And he actually, in one case, you could say got the Clippers back in the game on that run they made to cut the deficit they were in. When he just went up straight basket, and Dallas had no answer for this guy. I'm telling you, that if he can consistently give me performances like this, where there's a stretch, he just hits. This team's unbeatable. Well, I want to say unbeatable. But this team is harder to beat. Especially when Kawhi's on it and if the role players are on it. Paul George, round of applause. 11 for 18 from the field. Hit 2 of his 6 threes. Had 7 rebounds. 4 assists. 29 points. What more can you ask him? He literally damn near brought us back and saved us. So tonight, I better not be hearing no pandemic P. He should not be trending. He should be trending as Paul George. Because he helped, you can put up with the argument, he actually got the Clippers back in the game. Nicholas Batum, in 27 minutes. More minutes, Nicholas Batum. I asked for it. Even though he had 8 points, he was really productive. Played really solid defense and played some really good offense. Just give more minutes to this guy. Rondo, more minutes. 26. Although he wasn't doing much, he literally, Solid playoff Rondo here. He hit a 1-3 in his face. So Mark Cuban. Oh, I'll live with Rondo chucking up threes. Yeah, Rajon Rondo hit probably one of the clutchest threes when the Clippers needed them to hit a three. Had 6 points, went 2 of 7 from the field, had 4 rebounds and 8 assists. I'll take it. More Rajon Rondo minutes. Unsung hero, Terrence effing Mann. You see what I mean? If you're an outsider NBA fan, you don't understand. Terrence Mann has been a positive for the Clippers more than a negative. When he came in the game, he literally was a positive this entire game. I loved his energy he gave to the Clippers. I loved the hustle. Even though he only had 4 points, he had 6 rebounds. Love the hustle. Love everything he's about. And he's a tough kid. This man took a freaking jaw shot by Willie Cauley-Stein and was willing to get back up and take him on man to man. I really appreciate what Terrence Mann is doing. He's definitely earned the playoff minutes. And Ty Lue needs to give him more minutes. Patrick Beverley only had 2 points, 6 minutes. Keep it up. Minutes like this, handling the minutes like this game was much better than games 1 and 2 combined. Much better. Much better. I enjoyed this game. There was times this game went back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. But the Clippers at the end of the day got it down on defense. And when they needed to get the stops, they got the stops. And when, like I said in my series preview, when they needed to hit their shots, they hit their shots. And what happened there? They did that. And guess what? They ended up with the win. Now, psychologically, you got Dallas in the doubt. Dallas made. Hold on. I need to pull up the box score again, or the team stats. Dallas made 23s. Let me run down the psychological thing. Dallas hit 63s. Or no, not 63s. 23s. 3-point percentage over 50, like all the other games. And they still lost. Psychologically, that's going to get to Dallas. And 2, to add on to that, well, it's also going to affect them in the long run too, especially if the Clippers tied the series on Sunday. Not only those 2 points made, they were up 30-11 in the first quarter. And I know it's the first quarter, but you probably should have. You could make the case Dallas should have blew the Clippers out. They were up big, and it looked like the Clippers were going to be just done, over, and the Mavericks had them right where they wanted them. Hitting everything. They got the crowd behind them. They're up big, and the Clippers overcame that and won. That's going to affect Dallas psychologically. That's going to affect them. Now, it doesn't get them scared. Not yet. They win game 4. Dallas, I will say, is scared. I'll say this. Dallas has a little fear now. They have a little fear. They're like, oh, shit. We played probably we played a pretty subpar, decent game. And they still beat us. Oh, shit. Now you put that doubt in their heads. Now that doubt's in their head, like, they beat us when we still shot pretty well from the field. And we were up in a blowout, essentially. And they came back and beat us. Trust me, if Clippers win game 4 on Sunday, the series is in favor of the Clippers. All the pressure's on Dallas now, because you had them 2-0. You had them in game 3, 30-11. And if the Clippers win game 4, the Clippers got them right where they want them. All you have to do is win the next 2 games. And guess what? You go move on to the second round. Win game 4. You got Dallas scared. What I saw tonight by the tail end of the game is Dallas got scared. They had a little fear in their hearts. They saw when the Clippers have a sense of urgency, a sense of everything, they got quiet. They got scared. They weren't hitting their shots late in game. And see how the momentum switched. when the Clippers finally took the commanding lead. The Clippers can't afford to play scared against these boys. These guys are just kids. They're kids. Men can't be afraid of little boys. The Clippers need to man up. I guess, like my uncle says, if you check out my NBA videos or my NBA player preview, the Clippers need to have that testicular fortitude. If they man up, they can put these fear in these boys. I don't care. I don't care. The Dallas Mavericks, your fans, you can deny that. Guess what? Dallas is not scared. I don't care. Clippers win game 4. Dallas is going to get afraid of these boys. Dallas is going to be afraid of these boys. I'm telling you, they're going to be scared. And if the same thing happens where Dallas plays really good and the Clippers go into game 4 and win, then that's when you got them. That's when you got them. That's when they're shook. So the same thing that happened to the Clippers in the bubble when Denver came back on them, the same thing's going to happen to Dallas if the Clippers tie up this series. They're going to be shook. And that's when the Clippers got them right where they want them. And that's when you freaking take it to them. And that's when you implode. And that's when you set the tone from the start and you just let them have it. And you just say, nah, not today, Dallas. You guys ain't there yet. You ain't there yet. Luka, you're a great talent, but you ain't there yet. This is what I need to see. Urgency. After the 3-11 run, that's after the 3-11 deficit the Clippers were in. I saw the urgency. I saw the will to win. And that's what the Clippers had tonight. Another thing I got to mention before I get off is I think the Clippers found a weakness in Dallas's defense. And that's pushing the ball into the paint. The Clippers need to continuously push the ball into the paint until Dallas can stop it, which they won't. I don't even care if they got Willie Cauley-Stein in there. Keep pushing the ball into the paint. There are many times they easily get by Porzingis, Luka, any defender on them, and just go to the rim. You don't need to chuck up threes. Go get a nice, easy 2 basket when, guess what? They can't stop you when you put the ball on the floor and you drive to the basket. They can't guard you. So going forward for the rest of the series, Clippers, if they get more points in the paint, which let me check points in the paint. Clippers had 46 points in the paint compared to Dallas's measly 24% points in the paint. You want to know why Dallas only had 24 points in the paint? Because they're a 3-point shooting team. They live and die by the 3, and that's all they do. They just chuck up threes to chuck them up. And magically they go in. But if the Clippers can go at a high volume where they get around the 40 to maybe 50 points in the paint in the game, they can beat these boys easily. They can beat them. These guys can't do it. Another thing I saw, Clippers actually somewhat did okay in the non-Luka minutes. That's what the Clippers continuously need to do. Win the non-Luka minutes. I like what Paul George and Kawhi Leonard, how they played tonight. They didn't barely sit any, they got rest, but they didn't sit for long periods of time. Because Ty Lue know this. They're in a must-win game. And they got to play the same way they got to do in game 3 to get in game 4. I'm sorry, Kawhi Leonard and Paul George. Listen, the quicker we can finish this series up, guess what? As quick as you rest. But then again, what do I know? Listen, it's a playoffs. You don't get no rest breaks. Now, the last thing we're going to want to talk about is a Serge injury. I don't know if Serge, what the status is. They said Serge could be uncertain for game 4, or he could be a game time decision for game 4. We'll see. We'll see. Serge was definitely tweeting tonight if you didn't see him. He definitely says, he was definitely saying that they got the Clippers, look like they have it. We'll see. Clippers got to win game 4. That's 1 game down. That's all the Clippers needed. 1 game. Go win game 4. And now guess what? You got this series tied up. And you got Dallas reeling on their heels, afraid of you. And that's what you don't want to see if you're a Dallas Mavericks fan. That's what you don't want to see. Because I'm telling you, Dallas Mavericks fans, you may not believe me coming from a Clipper fan. You don't want the Clippers to tie up the series. If the Clippers tie up the series, that might be the start to this year's end of the year for the Dallas Mavericks, because that's what they want. I saw the look on Luka's face when he was walking out there. He looked afraid. He looked a little scared. That's what happens when you make this clown freaking do too much. Make him run the shit and run the head of the snake. And when guess what? when he needed to hit baskets, he let all your damn Dallas Maverick fans down. He didn't hit his free throw shots. He didn't hit his shots that he needed to hit other than those garbage time threes to try to give you whatever hope you had in game 3 left. That's what the Clippers need to do. Wear him out. Technically, he's wearing himself out. We'll see what the Clippers do. I thought Ty Lue coached a much better game here tonight than games 1 and 2 combined. Hopefully, he does a much better job in game 4. Anyways, I'm gonna get it, guys. Hopefully, you guys enjoyed the video. If you guys like it, leave a like. Put in the comment section your thoughts on this on game 3's Clippers win. Is there anything the Clippers can do to tighten it up to even up the series? And what are your thoughts going into game 4? Will the Clippers win it or will Dallas go up 3-1? Maybe will the Clippers do what, say, Clippers happened to Clippers last year? We'll see. Hopefully, for my sake, they tie up the series. Anyways, hit that subscribe button if you want to get more Clipper game recaps. Until then, guys, I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace.